Recording in progress.
All right, good morning, guys. Thank you so much for attending our PFL 3 Playoffs Virtual Media Day. With us here, we have featherweight Chris Wade. Chris is going to be starting us off this morning. Let's go ahead and get right into it. Jay Anderson with the first question, please.
Hey, Chris, thanks very much for the time today. And, this is your third year going to the postseason, obviously in a new weight class this year, but how have those previous appearances helped prepare you for what's to come this year?
You're muted, buddy. Chris, you're muted.
I believe that they've, sorry about that, that they've helped prepare me in that I have fought twice in one night in the playoffs in the last 2 seasons, and I've competed and won in dominant fashion in my first 2 fights of that evening, and it was only the second fight of the evening where I've had stumbles. So I know what it's like to have to push way beyond what I believe Friday night will call for, and I think that one fight per night structure that the PFL is going with is going to really, really play to my advantage.
Is there any part of you that's disappointed that it's not 2 fights in one night this year so that you can kind of go out and say, yeah, I can win both in one night?
Yes, there is. I wanted to right that wrong, so to speak, and I wanted to get over that hump and win a second fight in a night. But I think you guys know the 2 guys that I lost to the second fight of the night, in Loic and in Schultz are both very high level fighters. So hats off to them in their performances on those 2 previous seasons. But if I have my choice in doing what's best for Chris Wade to get to the title fight and win the title, it's one fight a night. So I'm gonna take that instead of letting my ego have a win in the 2 fight in a night situation.
Fair enough. And last one for me, just give us your thoughts on the matchup here. Obviously, Bubba took out the champ during the regular season.
Yeah, he took out the champ, but I mean, I'm pretty friendly with Lance, and I think everybody kind of knows from talking to Lance that Lance wasn't as into this mentally this year as he has been in the past. That's not to make excuses for him, but I know that wasn't the best Lance Palmer that we've seen, and that's just a stylistic matchup thing. Lance and Bubba are both really, really want to wrestle like the entire fight. So that was like a butting of heads stylistically. This for me is I'm going in there to really try to put punishment on Bubba and hurt him and finish him in the fight. So I think it's 2 totally different things, 2 different worlds.
All right. Well, best of luck this Friday.
All right. Thank you, Jay.
All right, Zach Grady, please.
How you doing, Zachary Grady, USA Today? Thank you very much, Chris, for taking some time for us. Just wanted to quickly ask, you are the 2 seed, you're the experienced fighter, you're the PFL veteran, and yet you are the underdog going into today's fight or Friday's fight. Bubba Jenkins seems to be getting all the hype and all the attention. How does that help you stay motivated during fight camp and especially this week, fight week, with all the hype going around?
Yeah, I can't lie. I'm extremely motivated by the fact that people find him to be like a clear cut in their mind favorite in this bout. I think that at best, if you really know what you're talking about in fighting, that you could give him like a coin flip situation where it's going to be like, I don't know, it's going to be really tough. It could go either way. But to be, calling him a clear-cut favorite is absurd. He doesn't really do anything that stylistically that poses a huge threat to people other than hold on to them in wrestling situations, which I'm very familiar with being a wrestler myself. So I'm struggling to even see where the real threat is in this bout, let alone like how he's going to survive it. But if you want to make some money, man, I can wire you some. We could go down to the casino for me. Let's make some money together.
I mean, you're plus 154 at the moment, so it seems like great odds. But just quickly to follow up then, is there a favorite piece of bulletin board material that you've been using so far that you've heard, or is there something that you look at each day to motivate you that has been said about this fight?
Yeah, the money line, right? Because that's where people seem to be putting their money, but that's no insult to me. I think my last fight, I wound up sliding into an underdog scenario too, and I knocked the guy out. So it doesn't mean anything. And other than that, there were some polls done online. Someone sent me, there was like a Tapology poll, and they had it like 87% of the people at the time. It was a fresh poll, but they had picked Bubba to advance to the finals. So I honestly don't know what people are looking at or what they're watching. I think they're just watching him be flamboyant and be like a big talker, and they're kind of captivated by that.
Thank you. I appreciate your time.
All right.
Mason.
Hey, Chris, this is Mason from Overtime Heroics MMA. How are you, man?
Hey, Mason, how are you? I'm good.
I'm doing great, brother. Obviously, with you fighting Bubba, it's an extremely tough fight. As you alluded to earlier, he's going to be heavy wrestling. How do you think your style can overcome his wrestling?
Well, my style is perfect for him because I'm also a very high level wrestler, and I spent a lot of my career doing exactly what he's doing right now, which is controlling fights, and so as to not take too much damage and to win the bout that way, to try to advance. But when you're dealing with somebody like me who's also a veteran and there's a lot on the line, I'm just the way you beat that is you refuse to accept any position that they may put you in. You have to make it every scramble a dog fight, and he has to get tired. He has to be, jaw open, backing up, trying to catch his breath. It can't be Bubba's pace, Bubba's fight, where he floats around the ring for 10, 15 seconds, throws a punch or two, waits for 2 minutes, goes for a takedown, holds you for 2 minutes, and then lets you up and kind of, throws a kick and a punch here and there and wins the round that way. It has to be a nasty, drawn-out fight, and that's what I intend to make it.
And lastly, from me, on the same card, obviously, Brendan Locknade and Mevleed are going to be fighting. Is there anybody you'd prefer out of them two to fight, or would you be happy fighting either guy?
I've gone back and forth with this one with a couple of interviews where I've sort of flip-flopped a few times. They're both great fighters. They're both confident fighters, and I have a lot of respect for those two guys as well. The matchup in my mind that I'd like to see myself in just slightly more would probably be against Brandon, because I want to fight a guy in the finals. I think the featherweight division is leading the way in the PFL season, and I think Brandon draws a lot of attention with the UK. He draws a lot of eyes. He's a figure in the sport that can talk and to back it up. And I want someone that can kind of carry the ticket with me. Unfortunately, sometimes unless they're really, really big, some of the Russian guys aren't as well known in America and in Europe as they are in their home countries. So I think it would be just a bigger ticket fight if I fight Brandon, and that's why I would say that I want to compete against him in the final.
Serge.
How you doing? It's Sergio Vicente from the Fight Podcast. Chris, how's everything going today?
Hey, what's going on?
Good, man. Well, so I have to ask you, What has your preparations for this fight and for this camp been, specifically because you don't have 2 fights to prepare for? How has preparations been specifically for Bubba?
Well, the preparation has been kind of started off with, we continued to practice after the last fight right away. Like, we fought on a Friday. I was back in practice on Monday, but then we started to watch tape of his last 3-4 years worth of fights, and take notes and break down what he likes to consistently go to, what you see him do every bout. And then from there we started to arrange practices at my home gym, where it's basically catered toward me and the situations that Bubba likes to control people in. So I mean, I feel like I've already been in a fight with him 100 times, because I have high level wrestlers that are not all Americans in Division I wrestling, state champions, all emulating him, holding me, and I think that it's going to really pay dividends the way that we approach this in a smart, intelligent manner.
Awesome, awesome. And last from me, being that you're a veteran in this game, you've been doing this for a while. What would it mean to actually win this tournament with so many badasses in your weight class?
Yeah, like I said a couple questions ago, I think that the featherweight division, maybe it's just because I'm in it, but I feel like we're kind of carrying the torch right now, where we're putting on shows, and we're making sure that the fans have good things to say after the nights that we compete on. So that would mean means a lot to win the premier division in a tournament like this. And I've wanted this so bad. I wanted to be a world champion in one of the high end promotions in MMA, because I know that I'm capable of it, and I know I have the athleticism, the toughness, the skill set. So it's time to manifest that and to make it come true. It's time to buckle down and perform and be the man.
Awesome. Chris, thank you so much for your time, man.
All right, Sergio, thank you.
Absolutely.
Michael Morales, please.
Hey, Chris, how are you doing today?
Hey, Mike.
Hey, brother. You've been here in this industry for almost 10 years. On November, actually, you will be celebrating your decade inside the MMA industry. From watching your first fight until what you are today, what do you think is the key behind your success as an MMA fighter?
Well, one of the main keys is my high level, high pedigree in wrestling that I came from. It allowed me to be a very successful MMA fighter right off the bat with very little actual MMA experience. I was able to go in and win professional MMA fights before I really knew what the heck I was doing in like high level kickboxing or in most striking exchanges. So it was the vehicle that, allowed me to be successful but grow in the sport at the same time. I've got a lot to thank wrestling for in my life, and my career path is one of them.
And last but not least, Bubba has his own style. He loves the entertainment side, the trash talking, everything that he does before the fight to get into the head of his opponents. Does any of his trash talking or entertainment side affected your game style, and what are you doing to avoid this happening?
No, I'm a veteran and I wrestled my whole life, so I know better than most that no matter what he says or does, it doesn't mean anything. I mean, look at the Conor McGregor Dustin Poirier fight. Conor McGregor said everything personal he possibly can to that man, about his family, about you name it. He said it, and he still destroyed him. So it doesn't matter what people say. That's all an attempt to make you a lesser competitor when you walk in there. And I don't pay attention to anything that Bubba does or says, because the only thing that matters is once they lock the cage door. That's literally it. Everything else that he does is for attention, and I don't pay any attention to it. I watch what he's done when the cage is locked against other competitors, and I'm gonna be in there. If he wants to run his mouth and talk while we fight, we can talk the whole time we fight. I love to do that. It gets me going. But the talk beforehand, I don't really believe in it. I get the entertainment side of it, and I appreciate him as a athlete trying to like bring eyes to the sport, but it doesn't get in someone like my head.
Perfect, man. Thank you very much for your time.
Ronald.
This is Ronald E. Smith from Getting Real. Chris, how are you doing?
Hey, Ron, how are you?
Can't complain, man. As you know, back when in 2017 you were covering the UFC, you were a different fighter, but now you have grown each and every time you step in the cage. What for you has been the biggest, not motivation, but the biggest evolution in yourself as a fighter to where you are right now?
Well, that adversity in being successful and not wanted, like being 5-2 in the UFC, coming off a win, and then being let go, not having a new contract extended, is a slap in the face. You don't hear that happen too much. It's just a testament to how undervalued those athletes are. So I kind of hit a lull after that. My first fight was Schultz here in the PFL. I was like very down mentally, down on the sport, and that fight was where he kind of took it to me in the regular season that year. First fight, it was a make or break moment for me where I said like that I need to kill off the old me and become a new person who's willing to put myself in harm's way in order to get the results that I want, which are exciting fights, exciting highlight moments and finishes. And I honestly think that even though I tried to make that mentality my own right away, in 2018, it's taken some time to actually develop. And I'm finally this year really opening up to where you see like that I would prefer to be in someone's face, punching, kicking, kneeing, than to be against the cage in control or on the ground in control. So yeah, I mean, I think it's all those moments where it's like somebody doesn't want you, right? And you can't understand why. That makes you grow. Pain makes you grow. So I would say that for me, it's those painful moments.
And now, speaking right now, as you are one win away for going to the finals, the pain that you went through, what would it mean for you to win and get that moment that you feel that is so rightfully yours?
Yeah, I think that in what I'm trying to accomplish, that's going to be a nice step in the right direction, but I have a lot more to prove to people. There's a lot more that needs to come out, and that people need to see that I'm a very, very dangerous fighter, a high level fighter, and that I could go with anybody in the world at this weight. So that's really my next step, is to put myself in a conversation where you guys, the media, is having conversations saying, damn, I mean, could Chris Wade beat the best guy over in this spot or over here? We think he can. And that's where I'm looking to do with my performances, where people are starting to like kind of fantasy match me up against some of the other top guys in the world.
Thank you.
All right, Chris, really appreciate your time today. Thank you for joining us.
All right. Thank you so much. Thanks
All
for setting.
right. Of course, we'll see you tomorrow.